Pocket Search Media, episode one. We're here to talk about marketing and anything else in general, really. Give the audience a little bit about the company, what we're about. Try to be as candid as possible, no BS, really.
Yeah.
So Herschel, when it comes to marketing, how would you define it for someone that's not familiar with that concept?
Marketing in today's age is moving fast. It's about keeping up with all the trends that are happening in the marketplace, not in just, in your business, but in literally every industry out there. It's to keep up with the trends and give the viewers, your audience, more information in less amount of time. So how do you do that? How are you in your business right now doing that? That's the biggest question. People want things very fast. We're in a digital era where information is moving very fast and people expect a lot more.
So, going from that, what do you think people are looking for in a marketing firm nowadays when they're starting their business? Do you think they want a jack of all trades firm that does the social media and video production, or you think some of them are just really focused on, hey, help me with the strategy in general? What do you think most startup businesses are looking for nowadays?
That's a great question. I appreciate that question, Patrick. The number one thing that I think most people are really looking for is a good strategy. And what I've seen personally is there are a lot of businesses that are trying to do a lot of things at the same time because in today's world, there's a lot you can do, especially with marketing. Marketing is everything from social media to word of mouth, which is still very traditional, yes, but it exists. So they try to implement different strategies and they try to do too much, I think, at one time, especially given their position. So if you come and ask me what is the right strategy and what is the one way of doing something, I'm honestly going to tell you, I don't think there is one way or, you do everything that's possible in the blue sky to get results. You should honestly pick a strategy, understand the time frame that it's going to take you to get to the place you're trying to get with that strategy, and then work on other strategies once you perfected one thing.
Okay, for sure. We get this question a lot from guys. I mean, I guess when we started this, when we started posting pictures of videos behind the scenes, I suppose, we got our friends asking us questions like, damn, what do you do? Do you work for a company? Like, no, this is like this is our own thing, It's like this is, sure, it's hard, it's a struggle, but I guess the question is, when you're starting your own marketing firm, and what are you looking for in terms of, I think job skills, skills definitely would be, okay, what skills would you be looking for when you're building a team for a marketing firm, starting from the ground up?
Yeah, okay, so number one thing I would actually say is starting off, it's a little tough because there's a lot of things that kind of work together, and even the basis of the marketing agency, it's going to require a little bit of technical skill set with some creative skill sets.
Yeah.
So, as we go and as we're expanding right now, one of the biggest difficulties that I had was having the technical side work with the creative side to come up with something that moved together, flawlessly.
Yeah.
So there's, I would say, three big components with marketing. One is the analytics part. The second is the technical part, being able to go in and like code and mess around with stuff. And third is the creative part, which is trying to create content. Now, there's a saying in marketing industry, content is king. So with that being said, even today's world, in somewhat way, that is true. And you know what? It's, I would say, progressive, useful content that is given on a consistency base, that is king.
Yeah, kind of like what Casey Neistat says, story is king. Like you said, content is king.
Yeah. So
sure.
Content is king, and moving with useful content, because let's be honest, there's a lot of garbage on the internet. There's a lot of people telling you a lot of things as to what you should do and how you should do it. But one of the biggest questions we like to ask, and I personally ask people that I work with is, well, how is this creating results? And if you say it's creating results, how are we measuring whether we're growing or is the result stagnant?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like like return on investment on how do you measure that? Yeah, that's I guess what people want to know if their marketing projects are,
exactly.
if they're working or not.
100%.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things is like I was saying earlier, is what do we do to create results? Well, here's the biggest thing. It's understand your industry and understand what the consumers want and what your competitors are doing to give them that. Sometimes just asking your consumers what they want and how they're going about looking for what they want is gonna help you kind of understand what you can do as far as marketing goes to kind of present them with the idea of working with you. Because honestly, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's all about relationship. It's how you build relationship and trust. And that is done through your reputation and how you work on your reputation. So when you do something consistently with your marketing and when you go and give them the ideas in a digestible, easy to use, and informative way, well, guess what? You make it easy for them to do business with you.
All right, how about this one? I think this is a question. I think it's not just for the creative, like photographer and videographer, but also just entrepreneurs and business guys. College, that's a question everyone gets. Should you go to college? Because, if you think about it, like, YouTube is a good, okay, how about this? The internet, there's just a whole bunch of resources on how you should start your own business, how you should approach it.
Sure.
Like example, the Gymshark CEO, which is now a successful business, that he dropped out of college when the business was booming.
Yeah.
But like, or other entrepreneurs out there, we're not gonna name some, but what's your take on the whole college thing? Do you think it depends on what aspect of marketing you're working on, or what? What's your take on that?
Honestly, it depends on what you're comfortable with. Because here's the thing. When you take basic econ class, they offer that in high school, and I think it's a requirement. One of the first things that econ teaches you is higher the risk, higher the reward. But it really depends on what it is that ignites that fire within you. So entrepreneurs are really people that have that inner fire and they want to do something bad enough that it propels them to take risks. Now, is the risk gonna pay off all the time? Absolutely not. 90% of businesses are gonna fail in the first 2 years. That is a fact. But being able to go and take that risk and following through, it takes something internal, and that is what creates good entrepreneurs. You can look at any entrepreneur, they started off, let me take that back. Any entrepreneur that is successful, they started off in the same position that any entrepreneur ever starts off. Steve Jobs started in his garage, right? So, if you look at it, the tough beginnings are there, but the people that are successful are usually seen through consistent action. If they consistently do something for a long period of time, they're gonna get results. That is a fact that stays true no matter what field you're in, regardless of what you want to take up.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I got nothing else to add. Yeah, that was a good answer. What else can we talk about? That's with some marketing. Okay, what about this? What's your advice for someone that wants to start? What's a good business? Okay, this is one that's. I think this market is saturated. Clothing line. What advice would you give to someone that's going to try to dwell in the clothing, which is one of the most highly saturated fields or businesses right now that are starting?
Well, here's the thing. We work with e-commerce as well. So we work with a few e-commerce websites, and one of the biggest things that I see is everybody likes the idea of wanting to get into fashion. There's a lot of people that want to get into fashion. Mm-hmm. Fashion and baking, those two things that I have seen a lot of.
Baking.
Because
what kind of baking?
Yeah, baking. Like people want to get into, cupcakes and all of that jazz. cakes, and because honestly, those two things can be done from home. So in today's day and age, it's very easy to start in those businesses. The cost of doing those businesses is very low. So if I were to give an advice to somebody that wants to get into this crowded field, I would tell them to start off with an e-commerce website. Have a few designs that people really, really like that you push out and market out, and see what type of results you get. The designs themselves can go up online, and you can create the product itself once you have enough of a traction, if that's the right word. Because honestly, people, once they start buying, you can really, there's so many ways to kind of really go about it, but you can do a pre-sale and, you know, make sure the product moves. If you're able to get 1,000 people to buy your product or products, a set of products, then you know that there is a place for it in the market. So, testing becomes a very important thing. Spreading the word out, marketing becomes a very important thing. Especially because if those things take off and you're able to do it right, you can make a lot of money doing it.
All right, sounds good. That's another thing we can talk about, or just marketing and business in general. What about damn, Herschel? I think we talked a lot about this.
Talked a lot, yeah.
We talked a lot, and there's so much more to. I think there's like so much to talk about in business in general, but
there's a lot to talk about in
there's
business.
so many.
But my biggest advice to viewers is the world is changing. People are expecting different things from businesses now than they did 10, 15, 20 years ago. And if you look at every 5-year period, that has drastically changed how we do business in the 21st century. So my advice to my viewers is, whether it's marketing and you're trying to get into marketing, or if you're trying to get into business, understand your market, understand what your consumers expect from you, understand where your competitors are at,
Yep.
and how you are going to make a difference in the marketplace. Because that's the biggest thing. We don't buy what we do, we buy why we do it. Simon Sinek.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
Cheers.
All right, cheers. All right, that's episode 1 of Pocket Search Media. What would you say? This like a marketing 101? What do you think? Like,
Definitely. This is Marketing 101. Marketing 101 actually got a little bit on Business 101, but yeah, our goal was to give you guys just more of an introduction and really give you guys some insight, you know, not just in marketing, but in business and how we can put 2 and 2 together.
yeah, for sure. All right, like, subscribe, comment for any questions, slide in the DMs if you want.
Subscribe.
Yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Next episode. Peace.
Take it easy. Peace.